And welcome to the SEC Network's coverage of the Big Blue Bahamas Tour as Kentucky wraps up what has been a long week. 6 basketball games here in the Bahamas. If you got to play 6 games in 8 days, there's probably not a better place to do it. Right here, Kendall Isaacs National Gymnasium in Nassau. Kentucky fans have enjoyed the trip down to the Bahamas as well. And Kentucky trying to remain perfect, but a tough test in front with the Dominican Republic national team. A team that knocked them, that gave them a good game just a few days ago, but Kentucky won by 12. You see the 5 prior games. Kentucky 5-0 on this trip. Chalon Reims, professional team out of France, really took it to Kentucky yesterday, but a big layup by Tyler Eulis late in that one sealed it 77-72. Dave Neal alongside my partner Jay Billis. So glad you could join us as this is the final game of the Big Blue Bahamas Tour. And well, Coach John Calipari said he wanted to get his club down here, see what he has, put them all together, see what the pieces will look like as they approach the season. And if you could step in his shoes for a moment, what would be his perception so far of this club?
Well, I think it's been a great trip. He knows he's got a lot of depth and he's got a lot of talent. He's also got some experience back. It's just a question of how he's going to use it. And this game against the Dominican Republic is going to be their stiffest test to date. 6 games in 8 days. That's essentially 2 SEC tournaments in a week. But he knows he's got some young legs out there. Tyler Eulis, the point guard, being one of them. Excellent defensively. Terrific off-ball screens, can knock down an open shot. He has been very impressive when he's come in for Andrew Harrison at the point. And Karl Towns has been outstanding. He hasn't been the best player, but he's been among the best players. And he's got great hands, excellent around the basket. He can step away, and he's also an outstanding passer and rebounder. Has a great future ahead of him. His present not so bad either.
Well, Kentucky's been doing the platoon situation with their lineup. Guys will be on for 4 minutes. This is the group that will start the first 4 minutes, and then he'll platoon 5 more in. That has been the plan. We'll see if that stays true here in game number 6. Coronado, Feldine, Suero, Baez, and Vargas. Elo Vargas, the former Kentucky post player, starting at center for the Dominican Republic senior national team. Coached by Orlando Antigua, former assistant to John Calipari, now the head coach at South Florida.
Kentucky in man-to-man. And the Dominican Republic does a nice job of cutting. They're keeping the floor spread, back screens. And you're going to have to talk against this offense and call out those screens at times. You may have to switch.
And a hold against Kentucky to start this one.
The Dominican's done a good job in the games that they've played here in the Bahamas of reversing the ball from side to side and then attacking off the dribble. And they keep the floor spread.
Here's Vargas. That tap won't go. Rebound to Poitras. Here comes Aaron Harrison back the other way.
And right off the bat, Kentucky gets a good reversal and gets the ball inside. And when you throw it inside, they don't have it. The big guys will throw it back out. That's just good basketball. Really well done by Kentucky. Didn't make the shot, but got a good one.
Suero pushing the tempo. And a moving screen on Vargas will give it to Kentucky. 2 guys that know each other quite well, kind of running the show today. Assistant coach for John Calipari, John Robick. The one, his second stint as a head coach. He's kind of rotated through his staff, letting them each have an opportunity. And there's Orlando Antigua, who was on the bench sitting side by side with John just a year ago. Harrison floater, not going to happen. Vargas, Coronado, back to Vargas.
Nice pass.
Shot blocked by Poitras. Tie up. It'll belong to Kentucky with the possession arrow.
Boy, that looked like a certain layup until Alex Poitras knocked that away. And for the first 4 games of this tour, Poitras was Kentucky's best player. Didn't play quite as well against the French team yesterday, Chalon Reims.
You love saying that, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I think I'm going to say it just in my spare time for fun. And the great part is if I mispronounce it, nobody's calling to say we made a mistake.
Poitras, no mistake, banks it off the window. Kentucky's leading scorer here on this Bahamas tour.
Well, he's played the way he needs to play to be an all-SEC performer, which I think he will be this year. If this trip is any indication, Poitras is set up to have a great year.
Feldine through traffic. Well, he took a tough spill in their first meeting with Kentucky. You see the arm wrap on that right elbow. Had a big knot on that after the collision.
He's got a great first step.
And a hand check. That will go against Juan Coronado. Look at Kentucky's top 5 or leading scorers through 5 games. Poitras, how about his numbers from the field? 73.5%.
He's knocked down a few perimeter jumpers, done a good job with that. Hasn't taken very many of them. Not a great shooter, but boy, when he gets to the basket, he's an excellent finisher, and he's run the court very effectively. And Kentucky's gotten a lot off of transition. They've gotten a ton off their defense, not in the last couple games, and they've done a really good job on the offensive glass.
Devin Booker, the freshman, gets it to Poitras. Booker with a couple of big shots yesterday for Kentucky from behind the arc. Well, he's got a sweet stroke, does Devin Booker, the freshman. Dakari Johnson, ball fake on Vargas. The big boys go at it, and Dakari wins that battle.
How about that move by Dakari Johnson? You get him back in the United States going up against college big guys, and he's another guy that's poised to have a terrific season.
Alley-oop, Poitras one-handed throwdown over Myers.
What a luxury for a guard coming down in transition that you can lob that up near the rim. Doesn't have to be a perfect pass by any means. And you've got a number of different teammates that can go get it.
Baez. Boy, nice post up.
Well, they got a switch there. Poitras and Harrison switched. And when Booker came over from the weak side, he just ran on past. He needs to stop there and go after that ball. Boy, Dakari Johnson does a nice job. He faked a pass, then faked a shot, then put it on the deck with his left hand and got to the basket to finish. And what a pretty pass by Andrew Harrison, who has led this team in assists on this trip and has really done a nice job at the point guard position, both offensively, and his defense has improved from last season.
Had a nice conversation with him after the game yesterday. Said he's enjoyed the trip to the Bahamas.
I think to a player, everybody in a Wildcat uniform has really enjoyed this trip. But boy, it's been long. I think everybody's ready to go home. This is a lot of basketball to play in a short period of time. And during the course of the season, in their future careers in the NBA, they will never play 6 games in 8 days like this.
Harrison won't go. Baez. Suero into traffic and a foul. That'll go against Aaron Harrison. That'll take us to a timeout. But Kentucky, we've seen this time and time again here on the Big Blue Bahamas Tour.
Just lob it up there with the left hand, and you got somebody that can throw it down. And Alex Poitras has been great around the rim. Here he's been pretty good in the pool, too.
Just some of the fun and excitement here in the Bahamas. Junkanoo, Bahamian Festival. Having a good time. Boy, the people here have been so friendly. 6-4, Kentucky leads over the Dominican Republic. And it was certainly a unique time at Auburn. 3 all-time greats crossed paths and transformed the school forever. Bo, Barkley, and the Big Hurt. An SEC storied film Thursday at 9 on the SEC Network. It's also available on Watch ESPN. Bo, Barkley, and the Big Hurt. I think there were 3 pretty good athletes. As you look at the FIBA World Rankings, Team USA win last night against Mexico. They'll take on this Dominican Republic team in a few days in Madison Square Garden.
And the Dominican Republic has played a number of games here in the Bahamas. It's a very good basketball team, but the United States puts 12 NBA players on the floor. Obviously can't put them on the floor at the same time, but the United States #1 in the world in every age group. It's amazing what USA basketball has accomplished over the last 10 years under the watchful eye and the leadership of Jerry Colangelo. This horn set that's been run by Kentucky at different times through the course of this trip. They've gotten some different actions out of it.
And Kentucky makes the switch during that timeout, brings in a fresh 5. Hawkins, Lee, Willis, Ulis, and Towns.
And this 5 has been the pressing 5. They put on full court pressure in large measure because of Marcus Lee and Tyler Ulis. Ulis can get on the ball and really get up underneath. He's guarding Edgar Sosa, who played at Louisville. And Sosa's 6 feet tall, and Ulis is a lot smaller, but he can just get right underneath him.
Sosa picks it out to Feldine. Vargas, free throw line jumper's perfect. And you can start to see a little bit of the practice and the playing together from this Dominican team, a little bit more crisp with the basketball than we saw in the first outing.
Well, they've been much better delivering the first blow, but the issue is going to be for the Dominican Republic is having to go against this Kentucky team for 40 minutes. It's not just what they do in the first 10, because the cumulative effect of having to play against fresh players every 4 minutes is going to wear you out and put some guys in foul trouble too.
It'll stay with Kentucky. There is Francisco Garcia, an NBA player on this Dominican team, a guy that I think Kentucky fans know quite well. Played at Louisville, 6'7", got out there on the wing, and he is not playing today.
Francisco Garcia took Louisville to the Final Four in 2005, where they lost to Illinois in the national semifinal. Was the 23rd pick in the draft that year by the Sacramento Kings. He's played with both Sacramento and Houston. Terrific shooter. Now here's the 2-3 zone by Kentucky. This group has played a fair amount of zone, and it's looked awfully good when they've done it.
You mentioned the Louisville connection. How about Edgar Sosa at Louisville, Orlando Sanchez at St. John? We talked about Vargas already. Those are some guys that play basketball at a pretty high level in the States.
Yeah, Suero played at Albany, but was a higher level recruit than Albany would suggest. Averaged over 20 points a game in college. Another guy with a great first step.
Towns. That was punched out from the bottom of the net, and you look at Carl Towns working hard. He will join this Dominican team as soon as this Bahama tour is over. After the end, he will travel with them to play Team USA in a couple of days.
Well, the guy that made that play initially was Marcus Lee, because he kept that ball alive. That was coming off the right side, and the Dominican was going to get that, and he kept it alive and allowed Towns to go up and score it. So that won't be a rebound or anything in the stat sheet, but the effort by Marcus Lee made that play.
Three knocked down from Jordo Suero, the 6'5" guard, and it's a 10-8 Dominican lead.
That first pass when the ball went to the high post needed to be deflected.
Oh, Ulis says, I'll match you, and he knocks down a 3.
I don't think he's missed more than 1 or 2 open jumpers in the 6 games that Kentucky's played. You give him an open shot, he's made it. You go underneath the screen, he makes it.
Another 3 on the way. This one off the mark. A rebound to Willis. Here comes Ulis. Nice pass to Hawkins. Lee kicks it back to Ulis. Towns sets a big screen.
You know, Dave, you expect this. Kentucky, you can tell that they're a little tired. They don't have the same bounce that they had earlier in this trip. They're not getting out in transition as quickly as they did. I mean, they're still doing a good job and playing hard. But you can't play 6 games in 8 days and expect guys to be fresh and at their best.
Ooh, Towns just picked it off the window. Willis the other way.
Derek Willis has done a really nice job on this trip. But tell me, Dave, like, how many teams in America? Now, when Willie Cauley-Stein and Trey Lyles come back, how many teams in America have an 11th or 12th man the quality of Derek Willis? You just don't have it. It's amazing.
Suero with another 3-pointer. And it's a tie game at 13. But you're right. I mean, it is. And Willis may be one of those odd guys out on this Kentucky team when they get to the crux of the schedule.
If Lyles comes back healthy, which we expect, and Willie, great cut, you got to shoot that.
That was a layup. Yeah, if Lyles gets that block, so what? You've got to take that. What a great cut by Tyler Lyles. Got pushed.
And still made it.
Well, he got fouled there and still made that shot. Well, he got it anyway. Should have taken the first layup, but made the more acrobatic and difficult shot and got fouled on top of it. Not sure that Kentucky really knows what they're in right now. Some guys were playing zone, others playing man.
Suero back to Vargas inside the arc. That jumper's good.
Looked like Towns just asked for a break, and I think Kenny Payne was telling him, hey, we're platooning. You get a break in a few minutes.
They're waiting for that under 12 media timeout, and hadn't been a whistle in a while. Here's Hawkins. Lyles. And a double foul underneath.
They just got a little chippy. Well, we're all tied up at 15, and Kentucky, after making a couple really good defensive plays, gets out in transition. And how about the Euro step in the Bahamas?
Boy, just beautiful down here in the Bahamas as the Big Blue Bahamas tour comes to a close. 6 games for Kentucky. This is the final one. Tied up at 15 here in the first half. Some beauty shots from around the Nassau area, and certainly we have had a good time down here the last few days. But Jay, when you start to think about guys that have stood out, there's one guy that I think just really has kind of brought his A game, and that's Jack Martinez. It's not necessarily his actions on the floor, it's the hair.
Who wouldn't want that do? And I'll tell you what, the guy on the right with that do, ladies, look out. How impressive is that?
From one beauty shot to the next.
See, because the problem I've had here in the Bahamas has not been anything other than the use of sunscreen on the top of this dome.
I'm just glad that I can be a part of that. That's what this tour's been all about. There is Jack Martinez checking in. Jack has been a veteran of international basketball. Made his debut with the Dominican national team way back in 2001. He is a big body, knows how to play the game, and used that body quite well.
And he played high school basketball at Artesia High School in Lakewood, California. He played with Jason Capono, who played at UCLA and played in the NBA for a number of years. Great shooter. And Martinez was kind of the Danny Almonte of that league. Here's another run out for the Dominican Republic. This is one area where I think Kentucky can really improve and will improve, and that's in their transition defense. They gave up a ton of transition layups on this trip. But it's August. I mean, you have to expect some of that.
Martinez, his first shot of the game, off the iron. Tied at 15, under 10 to go opening half. Booker. Poitras fouled. He'll head to the free throw line.
But Devin Booker did a really nice job there running the floor. As well as he shoots it, if he runs the floor and gets into that deep corner, he's going to get a lot of transition threes, stretch a defense, and then the closeouts are going to have to be on fire to get to him, and then he can drive those closeouts. So running the floor is going to be a big aspect of his development. He has done it here. He can do it. I think he can do an even better job of it. But he can be a real weapon along with Aaron Harrison in transition to really widen out and spread that floor and force the defense to come out. And that'll open things up for the ball handler, whether it's Lyles or Andrew Harrison bringing it down.
A sharp young man as well. Had a chance to visit with him yesterday for a while after the game. And he's going to fit in quite nicely with the Big Blue. 2-point Kentucky lead. Victor Liz, 16 in the game now for the Dominican Republic.
Really good athlete, good cut. Excellent back screen and cut. That needs to be called out.
And Booker just throws it away. Harrison Wasn't watching. There's Liz. Some of that athleticism you were talking about. He lays it up and in. And the Dominican Republic has a 2-point lead. 19-17.
Aaron Harrison really slow to get to that ball. I think that's one of those things where a little bit of mental fatigue has crept in. 6 games in 8 days. It's difficult. Heck, it's been difficult for some of these fans to do 6 games in 8 days, let alone having to play. And I think that's something early on in this trip that Andrew Harrison would have gotten right to that ball. I think he thought, hey, it's gone, gone over to the over and back, and it's going to be a turnover. Instead, it was a bucket because he didn't get there fast enough.
Well, there's a lot of things going on, including the old ice bucket challenge for ALS. This is Kentucky at the beach.
Eric Bledsoe's ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, and we nominate the 2012 University of Kentucky National Championship team, because not one of them has thrown the ice bucket. So here we go. 1, 2, 3.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, man, but you know what? If you're going to do the ice bucket challenge, you might as well do it down here when the temperature's right around 100.
You're darn right.
There is Coach Cal sitting alongside Special Assistant Tony Barbie, the former Auburn and UTEP head coach. Played for Coach Cal at UMass. Outstanding player at UMass was Tony Barbie.
Well, one of the things the Dominican Republic has done to Kentucky in this game is they've essentially taken them out of transition. So everything Kentucky's had to do has been in the half court. And the Dominicans getting out in the full court and getting some easy baskets. There's
Martinez. Boy, got hit a couple of times. No whistle. It'll belong to the Dominican Republic.
Now, the way that you have to beat Kentucky is you cannot allow them in the open court, or they will wear you out. Make them play 5-on-5. At least then you've got a chance.
Timeout taken by the Dominican Republic. 32nd timeout. Well, don't forget that you can tune in tonight as the SEC Network brings you a rewind of a classic SEC game. 1980 South Carolina, Georgia. 2 Heisman Trophy hopefuls, George Rogers, Herschel Walker. I guess they were pretty good. They took the field trying to keep their teams undefeated and stay on the road for a shot at the national championship. SEC Rewind, South Carolina, Georgia, 1980. 10 o'clock tonight Eastern time on the SEC Network. You can also catch it on the Watch ESPN app. So the Dominican Republic with a 2-point advantage here, 8:44 to go. Orlando Antigua, he will have his hands full in a couple of days. A real test against the senior national team of the U.S. And you see Coach Cal there, who actually coached this Dominican team in 2011-2012.
Came 1 game away from making the Olympics. Great cut by Liz.
Fouled by Booker, count it. Boy, you are right about the athleticism and the quick step of Victor Liz. He's a different dimension.
Well, anytime somebody dribbles at you, they're going to cut back door, and that's why Devin Booker, just a freshman, you got to stay between your man and the basket. Your job is to protect that basket. Worrying about a handoff more so than a backdoor cut.
And Liz knocks it home. He's played professionally in the Dominican, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, 26 years old, and he has given the Dominican Republic a 5-point lead.
This is really the first time that Kentucky has trailed by more than a point. I think they trailed to Shalom Reeves by 1, and that was it. So this is a significant deficit that they're facing for the first time here.
In and out. It'll belong to the Dominican Republic. And you're right. You can see it. You can just see it. There's just not that hop in the step we've seen before. The suitcases are packed.
Aaron Harrison missed that shot. That's the first time that you saw his shoulders slumped at all. And look, it's understandable. These guys are gassed, and I don't blame them. I mean, you think about 6 games in 8 days, and nobody from Kentucky's complained. Not one player's complained. None of the coaches have complained. But 6 games in 8 days is the equivalent of playing 2 SEC tournaments. And even though you say, hey, these are just exhibition games, these guys are playing hard, and these games have been physical.
And they have played professional, three games against professional players, not college guys. Nice fall away by Martinez. You know, there are other teams down here that have played 2 games or 3 games and gone home. Nobody's played as many as Kentucky.
No, I honestly, Dave, I can't remember a team that's gone on a trip like this and have played this many games. You know, usually if you go to Europe and you're there for 10 days, 2 weeks, you might play 5 games, you know, a game every other day, something like that. To play 3 games in a row, a couple days off, 3 games in a row, that is really, what a block. That is really, really difficult to do this.
Boy, Towns got off the floor in a hurry and sent it out of bounds. It'll belong to the Dominican Republic, but how about this youngster?
Young legs, huh? Coming over from the weak side, knocking that out of bounds, and he's showing some emotion. Karl Towns has been excellent on this trip, and excellent today.
It is the SEC Network, and you're watching the Big Blue Bahamas Tour, where the Dominican Republic national team on top of Kentucky by 5. Some of the sailboats out on the water here in Nassau. Paradise Island just over the bridge. I wonder if Paul Feinbaum's ever been over to Atlantis. Something tells me he has. And ESPN's radio, ESPN Radio's Paul Feinbaum will share his knowledge and opinions on SEC football weekdays at 3 o'clock Eastern time on the SEC Network. It's also available live on Watch ESPN. Don't forget, 2 o'clock today, the AP preseason poll will be announced in football. I'm sure that'll be a topic of discussion for tomorrow.
The only person at ESPN in more desperate need of the Jack Martinez hairdo than I am is Paul Feinbaum.
Liz, offensive rebound won't go. Knocked out of bounds. I think it was last touch by Towns. They're gonna, yes. Our officials got together. John Hampton and Bart Lennox talked about it and got the call right. But there, I mean, how good is that?
Yeah, talk about getting the call right. That is
that is just too good.
Look out, ladies. Walk.
Now Kentucky will have it. John Robick running the show today for Kentucky. Lyles. Boy, he has been really solid behind the arc, Jay, this entire trip.
You leave him open, he's drained it. There's very little that Tyler Lyles has done wrong. He's got a sense of this game that young guys just don't have. Now Kentucky's starting to switch those back screens, and Lyles knocks it away. Really well done.
Willis from the assist from Dominique Hawkins.
Kentucky ties it up, and Tyler Lyles is the primary reason. Got picked off on a back screen. It was called out and switched. And then he goes after the ball. He doesn't just go to be a pest. He goes to steal it. I mean, that was targeted. He goes to knock that ball away and steal it. And that's something that, you know, John Calipari preaches, but that Tyler Lyles just has in him as a player. And he's not going to just slap at the ball. He's going to take it from you. Good switch.
Three out of the corner again. This time it's from Victor Liz.
Well, Liz didn't play in the first game between these two teams, and well, he is really athletic. Good cutter. He's grabbed an offensive rebound, a couple of plays to go because Derek Willis didn't block him out. I really like him. He's good.
The Dominicans have hit 3 out of 4 from behind the arc. Here's Lee underneath. He can't get the dunk to go down. Knocked out of bounds. It'll belong to the Dominican Republic.
Very odd play there. Towns tried to pass it. It fumbled out of his fingers. Then he went and dribbled it. And Lee had a wide open dunk and missed it. Just bobbled it going up. That was part of the problem.
Liz Lost it. Hawkins has it. Here's Towns. He's fouled. Santana thought it was good D. So did his coach, Orlando Antigua, but it'll be a foul and send Towns to the free throw line.
Well, the funny part was the foul came much earlier. I thought that Towns got mugged while trying to get low post position. But the foul called at the end was the least amount of the fouling going on. That didn't look like much at all, really. And as Towns gets stronger, I think his lower base will get stronger as he gets older and more mature. He's going to be able to hold that position and power up a lot stronger.
You know, we'll see how much Towns will play with this Dominican team in the coming days as they get ready for the World Championships. But what will the experience be like for him in a couple of days to take on the U.S. senior national team?
Well, I think it'll be an irreplaceable experience for him. I mean, the Dominican Republic has very little chance to win that game just because of the guards, the speed. The USA national team can put out 12 NBA players on the floor. They're just better.
Yeah.
Kentucky's length and athleticism, where they can really make a number of plays. And that was Dominic Hawkins that blocked that shot. There are so many different options that John Calipari and his staff can take advantage of. And when Trey Lyles, and his first shot he's missed it. When Trey Lyles gets back and Willie Cauley-Stein, the question is going to be when they platoon, what are the combinations that work best?
Knocked out of bounds. Let me ask you this. I mean, we talk about the platoon, and obviously foul situations, injuries will dictate this, but how do you feel about really playing two groups during a regular season, 5 and 5?
I love it. I mean, most teams can't do it. They don't have that choice because they don't have enough good players. But I love the idea. And if you get two separate units of 6 each, because they've got 12 guys that can play.
Towns to Willis.
But you can practice every day, unit against unit, with a sub for each unit. And so then at the end of games, you can free sub based upon the situation. I mean, I think it's got amazing potential, and very few teams have had the opportunity to do it over the years. They just haven't had enough quality talent, but Kentucky's got it. Great pass.
Boy, this group right here on the floor has brought the energy for Kentucky. Towns caps it off, playing with a lot of emotion as Kentucky has taken a 3-point lead with 3:31 to go before the break.
Well, Towns and Ulis were the two that we spotlighted before the game. They haven't been the best players for this team, but they've been among the best players. And a little back screen by Marcus Lee to free up Derek Willis. Lack of communication on the part of the Dominican Republic defensively. And then Ulis in transit. Look how his head is up as he dribbles the ball up court. Plays with pace and allows his big guy, Karl Towns, to run right down the center of Main Street. Delivers that pass on time and on target for an easy layup. Those two really did an excellent job in that 4-minute stretch.
Boy, Kentucky will switch groups. The platoon will continue here. And this will be the group that'll finish the half. Poitras, Booker, the Harrisons, along with Johnson.
I think the Dominican Republic is looking at the new 5 going, again?
Right.
It really shows the defensive range of Alex Poitras now guarding Victor Liz out top. Dakari Johnson's going to be one of the guys who really needs to communicate here, because Martinez is setting a lot of screens. When he sets a back screen or ball screen, you have got to be up there.
Ronald Ramon, who played his college ball at Pittsburgh, gets it off to Santana. A collision in the paint, no whistle, and it'll belong to Kentucky with 3:02 on the clock, and that'll get us to our under 4 immediate timeout. So Kentucky's lead is 3. It's been back and forth here in the first 20 minutes. from Nassau as the Big Blue Bahamas tour wraps up today. Kentucky trying to go 6-0 on this trip. Boy, nice day out on the beach. I'll head there after the game. You will head back home. But Kentucky leads this one by 3 with 3:02 to go. One of the reasons happens to be Tyler Ulis, who has 8 points and assists to this point.
Tyler Ulis is just an excellent basketball player with a great basketball mind. Just understands the game, plays with really good pace, and is a leader out on the floor. Plays at both ends, can pick up 94 feet, puts great pressure on the ball, and then whether it's in transition or in the half court, he just delivers the ball on time and on target to his teammates with just a great understanding of how to play the game.
Certainly, it's always important to keep your mom happy, and it looks like Tyler has done that. You see the 8 points, a couple of three-pointers. Matter of fact, that group of 5 that just headed to the bench, they have scored 22 of the 30 points by Kentucky here in the opening half.
Well, their activity level was really high. They got out in transition because of their defense. And this group has had to play more half court. See Dakari Johnson with a little discard of Jack Martinez. Must be jealousy over the dude.
I wonder who works on that thing. I wonder who gets Jack ready for the game.
A little bit extra put in by Martinez, but it's clearly a foul. I think one of the things that officials, I think, on every level need to do a better job of, whether it's soccer or basketball, is if somebody reacts like they've been hit by an automobile, it's probably not, they're probably acting.
Basket goes down by Emmanuel Fortuna, the 6-foot guard. The Dominicans down a point with 2:17 to go. Liz goes baseline, kicks it out. The 3 on the way off the back of the iron from Ronald Ramon, and goes out of bounds. It'll belong to Kentucky.
When Martinez got that ball inside, quick little cut and a beautiful behind the back pass. Not an easy pass to complete nor get through, and that's something where I think you would expect that Aaron Harrison should knock that away more often than not.
Well, they flip-flopped a 5 again, does John Robick, who's coaching this team today.
I think he wanted to get a little bit more energy in there the last 2 minutes of the game. That last 5 did not bring a lot of energy out on the floor. And I think with the lead, if you can push it out a little bit, because the initial 5 that's been played, they look tired to me. This group does not look quite as tired.
Willis gets the free throws. Under 2 to go before the break. In a 3-point game. Here's Vargas.
This group is making it a lot tougher on the Dominican to make passes. They're having to make their passes further out, turn their backs. Their cuts are longer. Any dribble move would be 2 or 3 dribbles instead of just 1. Much better job defensively with this group.
And that's 5-second call. Good defense by the Big Blue.
Well, Kentucky's not ahead in this game because of offense. They're ahead because of this group and the effort that they've given individually and collectively on the defensive end. That's just a really good job by Dominic Hawkins, but also by his teammates for not allowing an outlet to pass it.
And a foul on the rebound by Marcus Lee. Well, you're right. This 5 right here making it hard for the Dominicans to do anything offensively.
Yeah, you got a 6'10" guy and Derek Willis on the ball, and then you've got Hawkins and Ulis not allowing a passing lane. So it's difficult just to, inbounding the ball is becoming difficult. And anytime a ball handler has to turn his back like Ramon just did, they can't attack you. And they can't see. That's one way to take away vision, is put enough pressure on where they got to turn their backs.
Vargas can't get it to go. Liz lofts it up on the iron. There's Vargas. Too strong. Here comes Ulis out of the pack. Up ahead to Willis. Lee to Ulis. Hawkins.
That all started, Dave, with Tyler Ulis passing ahead. Willis didn't take the shot. They reversed it, then attacked off the reversal and got something really, really good. Boy, if you outlet the ball and run, Tyler Ulis is going to find you. Good job by Towns to get up on that ball screen. Ulis jumped up to get into the ball, to be able to get over it, and Towns was right there. With 6 seconds to get a shot here.
Well, there's one guy that can get down the floor in a hurry. It's this one, Ulis. What hasn't he done today? A remarkable first half from Tyler Ulis.
Smallest guy on the court. You could make a case that he's got the highest basketball IQ. This game turned largely on the play of Tyler Ulis. I'd put Karl Towns in there, but that entire quote-unquote second unit. And I think Mama Ulis really enjoyed the first half, and well, she should.
Kentucky leads by 7. Ulis with 10 in the first half to lead his Cats. Kentucky wrapping up the Big Blue Bahamas tour. As it has been a great week down here in the Bahamas. We'll have our halftime activities coming up on the other side. The brand spanking new SEC network coming to you from the Bahamas. And you look at Atlantis on Paradise Island, where the team of Wildcats and their coaches and traveling party have had a wonderful week. Wrapping it up today, Kentucky, the Dominican Republic, 36-29, halftime. Moments away from second half basketball. Your thoughts about the first 20 minutes? Anything surprise you?
Well, it didn't surprise me that Kentucky looked tired, especially the first unit. It surprised me how much fresher the second group, led by Tyler Ulis and Karl Towns, looked, and they're the ones that really made the difference, especially on the defensive end. But defensively, they brought a ton of energy, and that changed the game and allowed Kentucky to go from a 5-point deficit to a 7-point lead at halftime. But early on in the game, the Dominican Republic did a great job of cutting, screening, back screening, getting to the rim, getting some layups, and then getting some open shot opportunities. But Tyler Ulis, with his energy not only on the defensive end, but offensively, knocking down a couple of open jumpers, then getting into the lane, finding some open people. That was toward the end of the first half. And then defensively, when Kentucky was able to get out into the open court, they got some really good things. But it was the second unit that really got things done more so than the first.
Yeah, statistically, the numbers bear that out. The backups, if you will. The second unit should say that. 28 points. Only 8 for the 5 that started this game. To see the field goal percentage, Kentucky just right around that 50% mark. Points in the paint. Kentucky, as they have done throughout this trip, has owned the production in the paint. Not as much as we have seen. You know, I think it goes back to what you're saying. Maybe they're just physically not as into it as they were a few games back. But, you know, not as many of the alley-oops, the attacks at the rim as we have seen in the past.
Well, they haven't gotten out in transition. Earlier on in this tour, Kentucky was grabbing a defensive rebound, and they were flying down the floor, getting a quick outlet. And then all of a sudden, they're putting a ton of pressure on their opponent's transition defense and getting layups and runouts and dunks. It was basically a SportsCenter highlight reel. I don't think you can reasonably expect any team, whether it's an NBA team, a college team, you name it, to play 6 games in 8 days and have, you know, be mentally sharp and physically sharp. It's just not going to happen. But I think Kentucky's played extraordinarily well on this trip. You know, to come into this one 5-0 and really only challenged once, and the opportunity to go 6-0 in this thing, I think a tremendous performance by the Wildcats.
Playing against professional players, I might add.
Professional players that don't like to get embarrassed. And the first 4 games, they were embarrassed. Kentucky dominated.
Poitras picks up the foul on Baez.
See the pass right here to Poitras, and once he sees the double team, gets it right off to Dakari Johnson. Maybe the most impressive thing, Dave, on this entire trip has been the unselfishness of this Kentucky team. You know, I think the stereotype of the Kentucky player under John Calipari is, hey, one and done, thinking about the pros, all that stuff. That's not this team. They are very unselfish and seem to get along really well with each other. Body language has been great. I've been really impressed.
Here's Booker. Tough shot, fouled. He'll have some free throws coming up. And one of the first times we've seen this group of 5 really run the floor like they have in previous games. And the result are a couple of free throws.
Yeah, Booker's got a big, strong body. And if he had just turned in to Feldine there and gone to the basket, I think he would have had a chance to complete that a little bit easier. But for a lot of freshmen, and Devin Booker is an outstanding freshman, the tendency is to go away from contact, when the truth is what you want to do is go into that contact, not just to create a foul, but to deliver that first blow and be able to play through it.
And another whistle. That'll send Aaron Harrison to the free throw line.
I think you could see there on that drive after the reversal, Aaron Harrison has done a really good job of driving the ball on this trip, but when he puts the ball on the floor, he goes into the contact and helps create it to make sure that he's going to draw that foul.
Booker, the only freshman playing in this group of 5.
So it's amazing the recruiting job that John Calipari's done at Kentucky to have the #1 recruiting class 4 times out of 6 years, and the other 2 falling all the way down to #2.
Yeah, the
lowly #2 spot. Hard for Wildcat fans to swallow being #2 at anything. It's remarkable. I didn't think what Calipari's accomplished at Kentucky was even possible.
Feldine up ahead to Suero. Boy, nice move by Suero to get baseline and a layup. 8-point game, Kentucky out in front.
Well, you can see why Suero was such a high-level recruit when he came out of the high school ranks. Averaged over 21 at Albany. He took on 3 Wildcat defenders and scored over and through all 3 of them.
Jumper off the mark, front of the iron. Here's Feldine.
Good job by Andrew Harrison to knock that ball away from Baez.
It'll belong to Kentucky. Now, you talked about the class ranks. This group, hard to believe it's #2. As good as they are, we still haven't even seen Trey Lyles, a 6'10", 235-pound forward, the Indiana Mr. Basketball, who averaged 23 points, 13 rebounds. #6 overall player in the class.
When you think about all the incredible talent that Calipari's brought to Kentucky and all those great recruiting classes, I'm not sure any of them are quite as good as the class with Anthony Davis and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Just watching Davis last night with USA Basketball. I watched him in high school, and he blossomed into the best high school player in the country, then the best college player in the country in a year. And I think he's got the chance to be a top 5 NBA player. Wow. And I think he's a future MVP. He was incredible last night against Brazil. He was everywhere. Ball goes out of bounds. He's diving into the stands just a week or so after, Paul George's injury in Las Vegas. It was really inspiring to watch him play.
Over the top of the backboard. It'll go back to Kentucky.
I was so inspired by it this morning at the buffet line. I dove right into the buffet.
Datta boy.
Nothing was going to keep me away from it.
Look at the world rankings. As coming up, of course, the World Cup in Mexico. USA, the #1 team in the world, followed by Spain, Argentina, Dominican Republic. Some work to do down there at number 26. They'll get a taste of the USA senior team at Madison Square Garden in a couple of days.
You know, in this FIBA World Cup in Spain, great play. They've run that before, just running Willis off of Lee on the elbow, a little curl to the basket where the weak side is essentially wide open. You know, this FIBA World Cup in Spain, I think you could make a legitimate argument that this might be the hardest gold medal to win that the United States has ever gone after. That it's not often you play the next best team in the world is Spain. They're playing on their home court, and the United States going without Kevin Durant, without Paul George, having to make some adjustments in a World Championship year rather than an Olympic year. This will be even harder to win, I think, than 2010, winning the World Championships in Turkey.
Well, the Dominican Republic is in Group C at the World Cup, which starts August 30th. And in Group C with the Dominican Republic happens to be the United States.
That means that both Jim Boeheim and Mike Krzyzewski and a few members of their staff aren't going to be back on campus till the middle of September. That's a tremendous sacrifice that those coaches and the NBA coaches, Tom Thibodeau and Monty Williams, it's a tremendous sacrifice that these coaches and players are making for USA basketball. It's really, really cool.
That'll take us to our under-16 timeout. So Kentucky's lead has been stretched to double figures. They're up 11, 15:21 to play here in Nassau as we roll on with the Big Blue Bahamas Tour. The SEC Network coming to you from the Bahamas. I guess if we got to come to you from somewhere, might as well be right here in Nassau. I don't have a problem with that. Kentucky up 11 over the Dominican Republic senior national team, the last game of this tour. Well, it was a unique time at Auburn. 3 all-time greats crossed paths, and they transformed the school forever. Bo Barkley and the Big Hurt, an SEC storied film, coming your way at 9 o'clock on Thursday right here on the SEC Network. It's also available on the Watch ESPN app. Bo Jackson, Charles Barkley, and Frank Thomas. What a time for Auburn athletics.
Barkley, the only one that didn't play baseball at Auburn. Can you imagine the strike zone he would have presented?
I know this, that was a great time over at Auburn. Just some great success on the football field. Charles Barkley had him playing some great basketball. And there's Sonny Smith.
Never heard a funnier dinner speaker than Sonny Smith, unless maybe it was Judd Heathcote from Michigan State. But Sonny is absolutely hilarious.
Santana will head to the free throw line. He's not supposed. Remember, he's supposed to be just kind of spectating, kind of digesting all this, evaluating.
Yeah, Marcus Lee usually doesn't look up in the stands for guidance from Kentucky fans, but now he has to.
Right.
John Calipari talking about how one-handed rebounds don't work, and most coaches were guards. And they tend to get on the big guys more than they do on the guards. They sympathize with guards. It's really kind of a discriminatory attitude they have against the larger members of our society.
Ulis, the alley-oop to Towns. We have seen that more than once this week.
And you're going to see it a lot during the season. Karl Towns has got a ton of ability.
Boy, tough shot by Baez. A couple of big boys, Lee and Towns, and he split them. three's off the mark, knocked out of bounds. Last touched by the Dominican Republic.
Lyles almost grabbing a rebound there. Came off that ball screen. Here's the play before where he just throws it up. And anytime you get into the lane, they are looking to throw the ball up near the rim. But coming off that last ball screen, Lyles does such a nice job of playing with pace off a screen, and then he can make a decision late, either to drop it off or kick it back out.
Boy, Lyles keeping it alive for his Cats.
Great pass.
Lyles, Towns, finished off by Willis.
Boy, this unit has really played well. Boy, that old give and go still works. I think the Fabulous Five ran that in the late 40s and it worked.
Here's Willis.
Gone.
Coronado, layup.
Yeah, you can't make that pass. That's going to lead to a layup for your opponent.
Lyles fouled to the free throw line. He will go. And Lyles having a fantastic game to wrap up this tour.
That horn set, he just hits one elbow and rubs off the other. Created a little bit of space and then gave a little shot fake and then went up strong with it. You know, there has not been a better player in this game on both ends of the floor than Tyler Lyles. He has been excellent all trip long, and this has been his best game to date.
Looking for point number 13. He also has 4 assists and no turnovers.
He changes the tenor of the game with his ball pressure. How long is he getting there?
Martinez with a jump hook, short off the iron. Lyles to Towns. He'll line up a long 3. Martinez the rebound.
Numbers.
Coronado. Feldine. That's perfect. Big 3 by the Dominicans.
Almost a Steve Nash type play. Jumping out of bounds and then hitting someone on the baseline opposite. Nice.
Left hand by Towns. Chases the rebound. That won't go. And the tap does go.
That's Moses Malone in quality. Missing the makeable shot. Get an offensive. So you get a rebound and a basket.
Loose ball.
How about that? Getting on the floor after a loose ball. Really impressive by Karl Towns. He's been as active as Tyler Lyles has been at the point guard position. Towns has been as active on the front line.
Boy, the 2 freshmen have just been solid. They have combined to go for 22 points.
There's been effort, and then there's been second effort. Getting on the floor, the nice little give and go. Beautiful pass by Karl Towns.
Folks, the colors are just what you see. That water is about as perfect as it looks on TV. Kentucky heading home today, though, after this game. We have got some college football coming your way as the season kicks off on the SEC Network with an exclusive Thursday night doubleheader August 28th. The Aggies will travel to Columbia to take on South Carolina at 6, followed by Vanderbilt and Temple at 9:15 from Nashville, only on the SEC Network. It's also available on the Watch ESPN app, which will lead us right into the, I guess you could say, the top 25 poll as released just a little while ago. And Alabama, the number 2 team, trailing only Florida State. There are 8 SEC clubs in the top 25. Texas A&M right there at 21. Number 9 in South Carolina. That'll be the first game on the new SEC network. So for Jay and I, it's time for us to, well, it's time for you. You'll go somewhere and do your basketball thing. For me, I'll go do my football thing, and then I'll reconvene with you in basketball at some other time.
Well, I'll be watching the football thing. I'm a huge football fan. Well, who was number 1? Is it Florida State?
Florida State.
You would expect that with Jameis Winston back. It'll be another great football season. And what I'm really excited about is the college football playoff. It was inevitable, and it was the right thing to do. And I'm really glad to see that those in college sports that said it was absolutely impossible and would never happen wised up and decided to do the right thing.
Well, it changes the whole dynamic, that is for sure. And ESPN, the home of the college football playoff.
Having it at 4 is great. Having it at 8 will be awesome. And someday it'll go to 8. There's no question.
Florida State, Alabama, Oregon, Oklahoma, Ohio State, your top 5 in the newly released AP preseason poll. Makes me think about Kentucky when the preseason basketball poll comes out.
The Wildcats will be 1 or 2. No question. I think anybody that's seen them play here in the Bahamas would have to lean toward 1. It's hard for me to imagine. Kentucky can be beaten, but if they play well, there's only a handful of teams that can beat them.
Santana. I mean, if you had to go through and maybe pick a few teams that probably have the early edge in terms of Final Four for you, who would come to the top of your mind right now?
Well, the next most talented team outside of Kentucky would probably be Duke. They've got 9 McDonald's All-Americans as well, and number 1 recruiting class, while Kentucky's got the 2nd. So I'd put Duke up there. I think Wisconsin is going to be excellent again. I think Arizona is going to be outstanding. I'd put those teams up at the top of the heap. Obviously, this is the only team as of August 17th that I've seen play. So there's certainly a lot to be determined. But I think preseason number 1 looks like it's going to be Kentucky's.
How about the tournament here in November? The field that will be here led by Florida. Out of the SEC, Wisconsin will be here, UCLA, Oklahoma. I mean, there are 8 outstanding teams. You'll be here for that event, the Battle of Atlantis.
Yeah, North Carolina will be there. It's got a chance to be the best field. Maui's always got a phenomenal field. How about Dakari Johnson running the floor? And that is not something that we saw last year. Changing ends was last on the list of things that Dakari did at a high level, and he has really worked hard on his body, on his mobility, his stamina, and he's done very, very well on this trip. You put him against college big guys and he's going to be an absolute load to deal with. Alex Poythress coming out of the game in favor of Marcus Lee. I don't know whether he got hit. He doesn't look right. He might not feel well, but he does not look good at all.
Well, I didn't see anything in particular with Alex, but obviously he's not feeling 100%.
He has played so hard on this trip. Wouldn't surprise me if he's a little bit worn out, because he has given tremendous effort. One thing that I'm not sure comes across on television here, it is certainly not unpleasant, but it's hot in this gym. And playing at this high level against physical teams, this is a tiring thing.
Jack Martinez will wear you down too. The big boy at 6'8". Those about 255 pounds. He's got all those little savvy moves from a guy that's been around the block a time or two. He was MVP of the 2004 Central America Championships won by the Dominican Republic 10 years ago. That's how long he's been playing for this team.
This Dominican team going to the FIBA World Championships, so what's now called the World Cup of Basketball. So that's going to be a grind as well.
Nice little runner by Harrison goes down. Lead back out to 10.
Nice play by Booker. Good pass.
Plenty of time on the shot clock. 18 seconds. Andrew Harrison bumped. And that will go against Orlando Sanchez.
Sanchez played at St. John's for Steve Lavin. Still disputing the call. Harrison got right into his chest. It's not a call that would have been made on the international level. It's a game that's much more physical. Good cut. Harrison had the chance to come off a handoff or go backdoor, depending on how he's being played. He read the defense really well and went backdoor, got fouled as a result. That was just a smart cut by Andrew Harrison.
Lee will get the inbound pass. Almost threw it away, and then a foul against the Dominican Republic again. This time it's Victor Liz.
That should put Kentucky on the free throw line for 1 and 1. And every common foul, they'll go to the line.
9:35 to go in this one. Andrew 0 for 4 from the field, gets that field goal to go, or that free throw to go. Overall, Kentucky shooting 49% from the field in this game. They have held Dominican Republic to 39%. As a team, Kentucky shot over 50% this entire trip. Martinez spins on Johnson. Gets it back.
That was a good job by Dakari Johnson to hold his ground. Stayed between Jack Martinez and the basket. Tried to make him shoot over. And made it really difficult on him. And did so without fouling. That's good defense. But now he needs to get up on that ball screen. Dakari Johnson's got to play higher up on those screens to help out guys like Devin Booker that are guarding the ball.
Santana will step to the free throw line. He's fouled by Marcus Lee. That's a third foul on Lee. Marcus, the sophomore, way out on the left coast in California.
And Lee has not played with this group. Played toward the end of the game against the French professional team Chalon Reims when the game was in doubt. Tyler Ulis, the Harrison twins, Towns and Lee played the end of that game. And it was really an impressive lineup. Nice pass.
Booker out of the corner, got it. That's his first 3 of the game. He has 4 points. Sosa, haven't seen a whole lot of him, the former Louisville Cardinal. Tap won't go. Rebound to Johnson. Dakari in traffic, swatted out of there. Right back, though, to Aaron Harrison.
Couple of high screens for Aaron Harrison to choose from, then the handoff option.
Martinez the rebound off the Booker miss. Liz. Little floater, no good from Sanchez.
Well, Kentucky has done some of it in this game. They did a lot earlier. They're passing ahead, which the Dominican just did to them. You know, in the open court, you pass ahead, it puts a ton of pressure on your defense. And the ball moves faster in the air than it can off the dribble.
Jack Martinez, layup is good. Little English off the window. 11-point game. Well, you can tell this group from Kentucky right now a little bit sluggish. We've been up and down the floor 4 or 5 times without a whistle.
They're going to get 4 new bodies. Poitras not one of them. Good pass.
Dakari, that won't go. Loose ball on the deck. Here's Sosa. Nice pass to Martinez, and he's fouled by Andrew Harrison. Devin Booker finally scratches from the field with a deep 3-pointer. We'll see this quite a bit in the coming months from the youngster.
Well, especially the way that Andrew Harrison can penetrate, turning down that ball screen with a crossover and creating a shot for his freshman shooter in the
Kentucky and the Dominican Republic 59-48. Cats out in front by 11. Getting late in the second half. Getting late in the Big Blue Bahamas tour. Wrap it up from the Bahamas for the Kentucky Wildcats, who will get on their airplane after this game and head back to Lexington. But this has been a trip where the guys have been able to enjoy not just the sunshine, the water, and all that the Bahamas have to offer, but Coach Cal wanted to make sure that they got out in the community. And this is called Samaritan's Feet, where they went to a local school, and children that hadn't really had some quality shoes, they went, fixed them all up, took the whole team and the Kentucky traveling party, and Coach Cal says it was a great day out in the Bahamas. One of the great events planned on this Bahamas tour. Each team can go on an international trip every 4 years, and this is Kentucky's time.
It's a great experience for the players to be together, the chemistry that you get from this. You know, teams go on these foreign trips and they almost universally feel like they've gotten closer together as a group. And certainly with the practices that you have at least 10 practices at home before you leave, and you know, some of the teams practice while they're gone, and you certainly get the games. It's a great way for your team to get better. And it's funny, you know, a lot of people talk about, oh, you know, what a wonderful thing this is for the players, like they're sending them on vacation. 6 games in 8 days. It's been in a really nice setting, and I know the players have had a lot of fun. But I don't think anybody should be fooled. This has not been a vacation. This has been a business trip for these guys. They came here to play, and this was done for the development of the program and for the team itself. What a great finish by Sanchez. Well, we got a 7-point game with 6.5 to go here.
And a timeout taken by Kentucky. Dominican also not playing without perhaps their best player, and Francisco Garcia, the 6'7" wing. He played at Louisville, but here's a Dominican Republic on a break. And how about Sanchez?
Another open court layup for Kentucky, or for the Dominican Republic, and another one that Kentucky has given up.
Hey, but don't forget, weekdays on ESPN. ESPN Radio's Paul Feinbaum will share his knowledge and opinions on SEC football. It's the Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 o'clock on SEC Network. It's also available live on Watch ESPN. I think he'll be talking about that top 25 tomorrow and so much more. I want to mention our officials that have been down here for the last 8-9 days. They've been working this event. John Hampton, his brother Brent Hampton, and Bart Lennox. All guys happen to be from the state of Kentucky, ironically. SEC officials coming up, but I want to give a shout out to the Hamptons in particular. There's their mother Patsy being recognized at their church in Cynthiana, Kentucky, for 50 years of service playing the organ and piano from the age of 16 to 66. There's a good look at John. So I wanted to give them a shout out. Those guys have been working hard this week as well. And to Mama Hampton.
Yeah, really a shame that the officials have had to wear long pants here.
Yeah. I talked to John about that. John, the leader of this crew.
Nice move.
Hawkins, no good. So the Dominican Republic will have the basketball down 7, 6:06 to play.
Well, they didn't get that shot to go, but that was a good shot. And now going away a little bit from the platoon system, in part because Alex Poitras has been unavailable to play. I don't know whether he's still on the bench. He's moved from the end of the bench down to the middle. I don't know if he'll come back or not. But now the platoon system is sort of out the window a little bit. John Robick free substituting.
Vargas off to Sanchez. Now Liz in the lane. That's blocked by Towns. Here's Ulis, 3-on-1 run out. Back to Towns. Follow won't go by Lee. But Ulis, as he has done this entire game, just seems to be at the right place, right time.
Now, does Towns get a block for that last play, or is it a kill? He just spiked that thing into the ground.
Aaron to Andrew. Now to Carl Towns. Ulis, ball's kicked.
Against the zone, Kentucky's gotten some really good things when they get the ball into the middle of the floor and get it to Carl Towns at the free throw line, because he's such a good passer. Towns coming over. Karch Karai would have been proud of that.
I love it when you get a Karch Karai reference into the basketball game.
Hey, you would have expected that from Marcus Lee. He's the one with the volleyball background, not Towns.
Yeah, Lee had a bunch of Division I volleyball scholarship offers. Turned him down to play hoops. Here's Liz, guarded by Andrew Harrison. Gets a big screen from Martinez. Boy, Martinez just throwing people all over the place right now.
Well, that was Towns there. He needed to step up. He wasn't connected to the screener there where that ball screen was set. And that just gave the ball handler way too much space in order to make a decision and get up an easy shot. Good ball movement.
And Aaron Harrison buries a three. Well, Coach Cal said earlier in the week that he wouldn't mind seeing Ulis play with the Harrisons in the backcourt, if that would be an option. This is the second time we've seen this.
I think it's a great option. We saw it yesterday against Chalon Reims, the French team, late in the ball game when the game was in doubt. It was a one-possession game, and Tyler Ulis was the guy that made the play that essentially won the game for Kentucky. They have the ball moving from side to side, and that's a lot of ground for that zone to cover. So when you move it, when you get to the second and third side against a zone, that's when you can really get some good things, whether it's an open shot or driving the closeout.
So Liz gets the free throw to go down. 7-point game, 4:07. See if John Robick decides to substitute here individually or as a group. It looks as though he will go with Dakari Johnson to replace Marcus Lee.
You know, one thing that I'm sure John Calipari is going to be happy to get home as well, because of the difficulty of, you know, not coaching these games, sitting up in the stands. I mean, he's had these long concession lines to deal with, and
he doesn't know. No, yeah, he doesn't get this.
Having to live the life of a fan is not easy. Up in the nosebleed section, can't even get down in a decent seat. Two-possession game. That means that the last 4 minutes, these offensive possessions for Kentucky are important.
Ulis three off the mark. Sanchez the rebound.
Good shot, but you just don't want to be a jump shooting team. That's a walk.
Sanchez. Coronado hounded by Ulis.
Boy, how about Ulis going after that ball when most guys would not have been able to recover and getting right up and staying between his man and the basket? That was impressive.
Well, Victor Liz knocks home the three out of the corner, and it makes it a 3-point game with 3:32 to play.
Well, Kentucky's got to answer on the offensive end. You can't just rely on getting stop after stop. That puts too much pressure on your defense. And since this zone has been played by the Dominican Republic, it's been an awful lot of jump shots. I think Kentucky's got to find a way to get into a gap and get something around the basket. They've also not gotten any second shots, something that they were living off of earlier on this tour.
Well, Kentucky in back-to-back games having to battle to the end. Shalon Reams yesterday gave him a tussle for 40 minutes. But as you mentioned a moment ago, Tyler Eulis with a big steal and a layup that sealed the game. Under a minute to go in that one. And here it's 3:32, 62-59. Kentucky shooting 43% from the field. They have held this Dominican club to 40%.
Really, overall, Dave, Kentucky's defense has been pretty darn good. You know, they've had a few defensive breakdowns on. I mean, you're not going to have a shutout for crying out loud, but they've done a good job overall. I think the thing where Kentucky has not been as good or as sharp has been in their half-court defense or half-court offensive execution. They've taken a lot of jump shots. They've not finished some plays that I think they could have and should have near the basket. I mean, they've still got a lead against a darn good professional basketball team, but you know, in my judgment, they should be stretched out.
Here's a look at the 5 previous games, and really no trouble at all with Puerto Rico and Shalon Reams early in this tournament. But Shalon came back, and you could tell they had been practicing, preparing for their season in France, and it was a different ball club 5 days later. And yesterday Kentucky won 77-72. So the Cats trying to go 6-0. Well, they have 3:32 to hold off this Dominican club. By the way, 3 Kentucky players in double figures, led by Eulis, who has a dozen. Towns has 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. And Derek Willis also with 10.
The Dominican Republic staying in that 2-3 zone because it's gotten Kentucky to stand around a bit and to become jump shooters instead of attacking, getting the ball inside.
Eulis. It'll belong to Kentucky. The timeout taken by Orlando Antigua of the Dominican Republic. And we'll take it. 3:12 to go in the contest as Kentucky wraps up the Big Blue Bahamas tour. It's a 3-point game. Well, Kentucky leading the Dominican Republic by 3 here in Nassau at the Kendall Isaacs National Gymnasium. 3:12 to play in this final contest of the trip. And one of the guys that has stood out, and boy, he has been everything and then some, is Tyler Eulis.
Great feel for the game, great understanding of the game, plays under control, got a really high basketball IQ, and his vision as a passer is just excellent. Knocks down open shots. He's great off of pick and rolls. Plays with really good pace, and defensively his ability to get into the ball handler and pressure for 94 feet can really change a game. Just adds a different dimension when he comes into the game, and now playing with both Aaron and Andrew Harrison, now man-to-man for the Dominicans.
And a shot clock violation for the Dominican Republic. Wanted the fast break to go on. They thought they had possession of the basketball, and they very well may have.
You know, that was the second time in this game that Andrew Harrison has been a little bit slow getting to a loose ball. It's got to be that he's just mentally and physically worn out from 6 games in 8 days, because he was really sharp the first 5 games. I think he's played really well. I've been very impressed with his performance. But today you can tell is just a little bit off.
Jack Martinez spins on Lee. Now he has to deal with Johnson and travel with the basketball.
They just tried to overpower the thinner Marcus Lee. And Lee did a pretty darn good job of staying between him and the basket and forcing him to shoot over, force those shot fakes. And then Dakari Johnson came over from the weak side.
2.5 to play. Here's Aaron Harrison in the lane. Floater, no good. Dakari Johnson, his putback won't drop. Martinez taps it, keeps it alive for a moment. Off to Coronado.
Kentucky going with a little dribble drive motion there. Got what they wanted, just couldn't get it to fall.
The timeout taken by the Dominican Republic. 2:05 in a 3-point game. Well, this is right now, you know, Francisco Garcia sitting on that Dominican Republic bench right now. He's not playing today, probably saving his body for the World Cup. But right now he's thinking, man, if I could just get in here for one shot.
Probably should have suited up.
There he is right there in the middle with his sweatpants on. Right. If you want to take the shot, put your jersey on. Francisco played at Louisville. He and Sosa. Well, of course, the SEC basketball conference schedule was released a couple of days ago, and Jay looked over it, pulled out a few games that grabbed his attention, some games that will have some significance.
Well, Florida's going to be fun to watch. Michael Frazier's back, an outstanding shooter. I think Chris Walker should be an even better player this year. Didn't get a full season in. And then Dorian Finney-Smith, I think, has a chance to be special, going against Mark Fox and his Georgia team. Charles Mann, Kenny Gaines, Marcus Thornton, outstanding defender. I think Arkansas and Florida on January 31st. Michael Falls, Bobby Portis. I think they've got a terrific shot to be one of the top 3 teams in the league, and any game that Kentucky is in is going to be compelling. Not only to watch the Wildcats, but to watch how quality opponents in the SEC try to attack them.
Martinez, no look to Vargas, won't go. Had a layup.
Now Kentucky can be selective here, burn a little clock.
Bakari thought about it. Gives it to Andrew Harrison. Throws it up in the air. No good. Vargas with the basketball. 1:25 to play.
That was one where Harrison should have finished that on his own. The game has gotten physical, and Lee just couldn't get to the basket through the contact. A really good pressure by Ulis, almost forced to walk.
Liz, no good. Ulis the other way, fouled by Martinez.
Just the challenges at the rim with the length and athleticism of Marcus Lee. When Poitras is in there, he does a great job at challenging at the rim. But Liz turned that ball screen down, and then Dakari Johnson did a nice job of moving his feet to get there and challenge that shot. And that's something that's going to be a strength of Kentucky's all season long. And that doesn't even include Willie Cauley-Stein and Trey Lyles. There's no violation there, was there?
None. 3 guys were in the lane. Play on. Coronado. Pull-up jumper. That's good. 1-point game. 50 seconds to play. Timeout, Kentucky.
Well, make or miss here, as long as it's not a 3. The Dominican Republic's going to get the ball back with an opportunity here. And this is, I think this is what John Calipari, although he has a pained look on his face, he shouldn't mind seeing this. This is something that is going to be revealing of his team and a great learning experience for him. And they're getting it all in August. I think part of him is thinking about touching down in Lexington, though. He's got that look of, let's go.
It'll be good to get back home for these guys. Take a look at that last basket.
It's just a tough shot and a good shot for the Dominican Republic. Right now for Kentucky, it's about getting something, I think, going toward the basket. Because getting fouled here is a good thing as well.
Well, be sure to tune in tonight as the SEC Network brings you a rewind of a classic SEC football game. It's the 1980 South Carolina-Georgia contest. 2 Heisman Trophy hopefuls, George Rogers, Herschel Walker, took the field, trying to keep their teams undefeated and stay on the road for a shot at the national championship. SEC Rewind, South Carolina-Georgia, 1980, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on the SEC Network. Also catch it on the Watch ESPN app. So here we go, 39.1 seconds to play. 28 on the shot clock. Kentucky with the basketball. They'll go with the Harrisons, Ulis, Lee, and Carl Towns.
I wonder if the Dominican will sit back in a zone right now because they know they're going to get the ball back. Nope, they're not. They're going man. Run out ball screen here wouldn't be a bad idea.
Ulis for three, no good. Tapped around, taken by the former Kentucky Wildcat Eloy Vargas.
Now the Dominican Republic with a chance to win.
Orlando Antigua was an assistant to that man for many years. Started at Memphis, came with him to Kentucky. Now he's running his own show at the University of South Florida in Tampa and coaching the Dominican Republic national team.
And now we'll see if John Robic makes any change in the lineup just for defensive purposes. He's got a solid defensive lineup out there. But to have Tyler Ulis on the ball, you would think that Marcus Lee and Carl Towns are going to stay out there. And then the Harrison twins.
Coach Cal obviously not happy about something he just saw.
Might have been a little coaching going on from the stands there. Illegal in tennis, not so in basketball. Ulis will be key here in putting pressure on the ball. And you have to watch out for second shots as well. You know, a defensive rebound can end it. But so can an offensive rebound for the Dominican.
Coronado has it, guarded by Ulis. Gets it to Martinez. Now it's Vargas.
Well, Ulis stayed step for step with Coronado.
Martinez with 5. Fall away. Got it. 2 seconds.
Well, there's far more time than .4. There's over 2 seconds to go. When that shot went through, there was 2 seconds on the clock. And the clock should stop. But it didn't.
Jack Martinez with about a 13-foot fall-away jumper.
And Andrew Harrison on him. And that's just a difficult shot to put pressure on. There was at least 2 seconds when that ball went through. Yeah, 2.9. So you got 2.9 seconds. They're putting 2.6 on the clock. So you can get that ball to midcourt, call a timeout. You can't really advance it if you catch it at the free throw line. You can't advance it too much further than the opposite 3-point line. So you can get a 3 off, but if they throw long, you've got an opportunity here.
Kentucky, no timeouts. Dominican Republic has 2. And a 1-point game here with 2.6 on the clock.
Another timeout. Dominican Republic wants a timeout after seeing the alignment.
Coach Cal just can't stay away from the huddle. We'll see if he gets in there.
Well, all in all, this has been the kind of game that will really help Kentucky win or lose. To get tested like this in the last game, to have to reach back when they are just gassed and tired.
Well, I will say this for Coach Cal. He said he was going to stay out, and he did. You know how hard that is for him to walk by that huddle.
I think the whole thing, yeah, it has been, I think, difficult for him to not to coach, but his assistants have done a great job, as have the players.
So Towns will go and inbound the basketball. Ulis, Booker's on the floor along with the Harrison twins.
Well, he loop Ulis around.
Knocked out of bounds by Sanchez.
Got to think about throwing something deep.
Tapped around, taken by the Dominican Republic, and that'll do it. Jack Martinez with a big shot. With 2.6 seconds to go, gives the Dominican Republic a 1-point win, 63-62, and Kentucky falls for the first time on this 6-game trip here to the Bahamas. But for Kentucky, overall, you got to look at this as a fantastic week of basketball. 6 games against professional players. And you got to feel like these guys not only came together as a group, but certainly learned a lot about what's expected from their coach, John Calipari.
A tremendous benefit to the Wildcats from this trip. And I think
If you'd asked John Calipari before the trip,
5-1, would you take it? I think the answer would be yes.
Well, the Cats will lose this one in dramatic fashion. But they go 5-1 on their trip to Nassau. Jack Martinez with the big shot to give the Dominican Republic the win as they will head to take on the U.S. senior national team in Madison Square Garden in a couple of days. Been a good week down here. Enjoyed it with our entire crew, including my partner, Jay Billis. The Dominican Republic wins it 63-62. Coming up next, an SEC Classic football game. Auburn and Alabama. So for Jay and the rest of our crew, I'm Dave Neal saying so long, everybody, from Nassau.